distractions. Easier said than done. So what are you doing to help them block out the noise and eliminate those distractions?
Well, first off, I just had them kind of look around the field and just say, hey, check out these bleachers. Oh, look at that sign right there. Wow, by the way, they painted an NCAA sign on our field. Just, they're going to notice things. That's what our guys do. They learn and they pay attention. So at the same time, I've reminded them every single day. The message has been the same. So when they keep hearing, that's why it made me feel really good that they regurgitated basically everything I just said, right? Because they're obviously listening and paying attention.
What are you doing personally? It's your first time as a head coach in a regional. We're expecting a huge crowd this weekend. There's a lot on the line. How are you handling nerves?
How do I look?
Right, Same as always.
That's how I want to be. And you know what? The reason why that's so important to me is because, man, if I'm telling our guys that and they show up and I'm totally different or the rest of our staff is totally different, man, that'd be really easy to get confused and just be like, hold on, time out now, coach, right? And you know what? I've haven't been privileged enough to play in the postseason a bunch in my career. I just know, and I really believe how important that is. And you know what? The second you start changing things or acting differently, and you guys notice it. You guys are around about, whenever we have games and things like that, you would sense it for me immediately, the same way they would, right? So I don't want them to change. So more importantly, our coaches, we can't do that either. We got to be the same.
Have you heard from other coaches words of advice, encouragement, support?
I've had a couple coaches reach out to me, but not a ton. I'm just so into doing our routine and being the same every day and, not having bad days and, just learning every day. And so I'll have you hold me responsible or accountable. If you start seeing me change, be like, hey, Nick, man, like you're really starting to be different here now, so, but it's been some really neat deal for our city. I'm really excited for the University of Kentucky and our city because this is what we wanted. This is what we wanted. We wanted to be able to have a podium and a stage and bleachers and, especially when we're trying to build something here, and this is the first step.
The strategies seem to vary with coaches on who pitches that first game. Ultimately, why did you choose to throw?
Derek, that's a great question. So I believe you got to do whatever you can to win the first game. And then when we get to the second game, my philosophy and strategy is going to be do whatever we can to win the second game. And then if we're fortunate enough to win the second game, we're going to do whatever we can to win the third game. And if we don't win that game, then we got to play a fourth game. We're going to do whatever we can. So I just felt like, hey, look, we've been really successful this season. And Sean Jelly has thrown the opening game of all season, and I didn't want to change that. I just felt like that gives us the best chance to win the first game.
Nick Logan was telling us the other day you actually had them practice dogpiling in the fall. Yeah. Where did you come up with that idea, and what was kind of the thinking behind it?
So we started doing that at my last school, and we would practice different scenarios. We would set up a play during practice, and we would post it. So we wouldn't actually set it up on the field. We would post a scenario, and at any point in time, if a certain song played, then we'd have to set it up and we'd have to play, and we would celebrate winning a championship. And I basically told them that for us to do some things that have never been done before, you're going to have to win a championship and you're going to have to dogpile. And since we're here, we might as well do it here and let's practice. So I actually have some of those on my phone. It's kind of neat. I go back every once in a while and watch them and do the water bottles. And they wouldn't actually dogpile on each other, but there would be a celebration, like a walk-off winner celebration. But I love this saying, anything you vividly imagine, ardently desire, enthusiastically act upon, absolutely must come to pass. And I remember being in college and hearing Skip Burtman say that. Anything you vividly imagine, ardently desire, enthusiastically act upon, absolute must come to pass. And from the second I got here, I've basically shared my vision with the program, our coaches have, and what we wanted to do, and we were very clear. And now, starting tomorrow, we have an opportunity to take our first step to do that.
What are the do's and don'ts of the dogpiling?
Well, let's get there first. But we didn't really practice dogpiling. We just did the water bottles and the celebrations and the jumping up and down. So.
Nick, there are a number of ball clubs, schools around the country that have ballparks set up with this kind of seating number. How neat would it be if you came aboard to set this up on a permanent basis? Have you thought about that when you look at it?
I've thought about that, but I'm also realistic to know that, man, sometimes part of our season is played in difficult temperatures and weather. And I just came from a place would hold 15,000 people. And there were some times where there'd be 7,000 people there, and it wouldn't look like there was a lot of people there, but we were like, man, there's 7,000 people here. So for me, I would rather have 2,000 look like 4,000 as opposed to have the other way around, right? So, but that's part of my job as the head coach, is to create an environment and a program and a product on the field to get people excited about and they want to come watch. And this is a really good first step to doing that.
And I've asked the players this, I ask you, it's been argued around the state that baseball is bigger than basketball. What do you think about that? Is baseball a bigger deal in your mind here, even though it doesn't get the kind of publicity basketball gets? Is it?
Well, I know this, basketball's got a lot more national championships than we do. And until we catch them in the national championship column, then I don't believe baseball will be more important.
Well, not so much here in Kentucky, but statewide, is baseball.
Oh, you know what? I've never thought about that, and I'd have to think about my answer before I gave you one. I just know that obviously collegiately baseball's doing pretty good in the state, because when you look at what Louisville's doing and they're hosting and we're hosting, I mean, that's pretty special. And I think it's really good for the state of Kentucky, because there's a lot of really good baseball players here. There's a long line of great players to come out of this state. And I just think anytime they're doing good and we're doing good, boy, is that really good for the state of Kentucky.
With the program success coming at the same time and new stadiums being built, and then seeing Cliff Hagan needing, more seats for this regional, does it make you even more excited that a new home is coming soon?
Oh, it does. And you know what? I'm just so thankful for Dr. Capilouto and Mitch Barnhart to give me this opportunity. And they basically are the ones that said, hey, look, we believe in you. And you go out and hire the best coaches you can hire, and you can do this. That's basically what they did when they hired me. And I cannot be thankful enough, because here we are. And this is the first step. It's not good enough just to host it, right? You got to win it. And then you got to get to the next step. It's just like I told our guys, there's always another level, right? So it's one thing to host a regional, then the next thing is to win it. And then the next thing is to get to a super regional, then you got to win it. Then it's not good enough just to get to Omaha, you got to win it. And it's like when they move on here, hopefully they graduate, and then they move on to professional baseball, and maybe they go to A-ball, then they got to go to AA, then they go to AAA, then they make it to big leagues. That's not even good enough, because then you want to be an all-star, then you want to be a Hall of Famer. It's like there's always another level, and this is the first step, and the first level to our program is hosting it, and the next step would be to win it.
After the SEC tournament, what areas do you want to see move forward in this step?
So I thought some of our guys really tried really hard and pressed, and just maybe put too much pressure, or whatever you want